Hey there, and welcome to the UkeStuff channel, and welcome to this UkeGuide review of the Peripole Classic Tenor Ukulele by Enya. It's also known as the EUT-200A. Now, this is now carried in the United States solely by Peripole.com, which is a music education specialty program. Anyone can order from Peripole. If you register, there's I believe, a 10% discount. Music educators usually get a further discount on top of that, often up to 20%. So it's definitely worth registering if you're anyone, but music educators especially should probably register for the instrument. Now, in these reviews, what we do is, first of all, tuning, and then a little sound test. But then we'll look at subjective matters on the ukulele. Then we'll look at objective data on the instrument, so basically the specifications. And then finally, I'll come back with a summary. Now, if you notice, on the bottom of the screen are chapters. You can move ahead or forward or back to whatever interests you. This is a longer format video, so feel free to jump around as you want to. And if you want to see what those choices are, not just there, they actually show up in the description below. Let's start talking about the instrument. First of all, price. It sells for $86, and then there's $9 shipping, I believe. I was putting it into Peripole.com if you're not registered. If you are registered, the initial price drops, and then, of course, shipping is going to be the same. If you're a music educator, same deal. Now, these are also available in soprano and concert. And also, if you are an educator looking to buy a set of instruments for your classroom, such as 24 of them, or 10 of them, or a combination thereof, Peripole sells them in those larger sets for a slight additional discount above the music educator's discount. It's really a great thing if you're looking for an instrument. So in terms of value, I cannot deny that there are some ukuleles that are cheaper out there in the market, but there are very few that match the quality of what you're getting with Enya with the price, as well as the quantity of items that you get. So not only do you get a pretty well put together ukulele, you're also getting one of the best kits in the business. And in fact, it's almost too much, and I'll show you that as we go. So you get a great bag. Are there better bags? Sure, but this one is going to really do what you need it to do. And one of my favorite features is that it has a hanging tab. That's always something I look for, so that, for example, when I'm traveling, I can hang it somewhere if I need to. In a classroom, that's really a wonderful thing, because otherwise, what do you do with all the cases with the instruments in them? It's a good question, and that solves that problem. It's got a good amount of padding in it, but here's where the benefit comes. You get a strap, and straps are something that I like, which tells you that, of course, the instrument then is going to have strap buttons on it. Also, let's see what else you get here. You get extra strings, the fluorocarbon strings. I ended up liking those. I didn't like Enya strings early, but they may have changed the formulation. I like them now. Here you get a shaker, finger shaker. I've never actually used one, but I have a bunch of them. You get a capo. It's just a plastic capo, but it's all that you need if you need to use a capo. Going down a little further, you get a cleaning cloth, which is nice. Of course, you get a tuner, an Enya branded tuner. And then, of course, the one weird thing, which is you get a set of picks. And again, I don't understand why the ukulele companies include a set of picks. We just generally don't use a plastic pick with ukulele. It's usually felt or leather. I suppose there are a few people that do, but the instrument really isn't created for that. So it's a great kit. And if you are familiar with Enya, you're used to that kit. They often include all of those things, or many of those things, with their instruments. But in the world of music education, we don't often see that. So that's really nice to see. So as a result, yeah, there are a few less expensive ukuleles out there, but the value really does exceed the price. So that's what you need to know, is that, yes, you're getting more than your money's worth right now. The build quality overall is really good. The build is nearly perfect. The heel is kind of a neat design, really narrow down there. One of the things I do like to do is take a look at what instruments look like inside. So let's take a look at the internal Uke Cam and see what's going on in there. Look on the inside of the Enya EUT-200A. which is known also as the Peripole Classic Ukulele. This is the tenor model. All right, so we saw the braces on the bottom of the instrument as we went in. Now we're going to take a look at the back. See a little bit of glue here and there, but overall it's a pretty clean build. Looking all across the back, there's your tail block. This is the lower bout, of course, we're looking at. You can see the vertical braces that run. There are 3 of them. And then you can see the bridge up here along with the beads that are tied on for the string through bridge. You can see a little bit of glue on that as well. And it looks like that bridge support runs all the length of the ukulele as well. All right, let's take a look at the upper bout of the ukulele. All right, here we go. Taking a look around, there's your upper brace. There is the neck block, a little bit of glue there. You've got your laminate inside and your notch kerfing. But overall, generally, pretty clean build as you would expect from an Enya. All right, and that's our look at the Enya Ukulele's EUT200A, or the Peripole Classic Ukulele. All right, so welcome back from our trip inside the ukulele and going ukulele diving. As you can see, a couple of glue dots in there, nothing to worry about, nothing that's going to impact the instrument. The other thing I will say about build quality before we leave is that the laminate is also very thin, making it very resonant, and really that's going to impact the sound later. Now in terms of appearance, it's pretty plain. And if you're thinking about it, it's an entry-level instrument. If you don't like that sort of color of mahogany, then this might not be the instrument for you. If you want something a little more flashy, it may not be the instrument for you. There is the sound hole. It is not rainbow, just so you know. If you're from the distance, you might think that it is, but it's not. So ultimately, it's kind of like, do you like the look of the mahogany? And if you do, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're not a big fan of that mahogany look, then again, it's not the ukulele for you. So generally, it's pretty plain overall, and that's okay. Now, if you're going to be super picky, you can see that the headstock, that veneer up there, doesn't match the rest of the color of the ukulele. Now, in terms of availability, if you'd like one of these in the United States, you can order them right from peripole.com, and they will get one to you. Now, in terms of playability, what I'm going to say first of all is that it has really low action, which makes it a joy to play. Now, what might cause some alarm is that the neck is only 35 millimeters. So as the neck is 35 millimeters, people with large hands that like a little bit wider of a nut may not like this. The neck is also, especially at the tenor scale, it's a pretty chunky C-shaped neck. I don't see that it impacts my playability at all, but I can see where if that was more narrow, I would like it more. So if there's any area that could really be improved, it would be the profile of that C-shaped neck. That's about the only criticism that I could throw at the instrument, and that's pretty mild criticism. So let's talk about the sound quality. This is a laminate instrument, so you have sort of an expectation of what a laminate instrument should sound like. It's got a lot of sustain, a lot of chime to it. It's a very full sound. Ultimately, by the way, I've played a lot of Enyas at this point. I've bought quite a few for the schools that I've worked at, and I've bought them for family when they've been on sale and things. And I really do like Enya as a company. I really do. Generally, one of the criticisms with Enya is that their instruments are a little quiet when they're played. This one is the loudest laminate Enya that I played, and I have played other Enya laminate tenors. So this one has good volume. Now, is it loud on the level of a Ko-Aloha instrument? The answer is no. No, of course not. But it has enough presence for you to be able to play and enjoy this one for a long time. This isn't just the beginner ukulele. This is a laminate ukulele that you can play for years and be quite content with it, as long as you don't need a super blingy ukulele. So ultimately, that's really thin laminate top really helps that sound, and quite honestly, you won't grow tired of this instrument. Now, one of the things I like to do is to use an app called the Tonal Energy Tuner to let you see what I'm hearing. So in other words, I don't want you just to take my word for it. And remember, I personally like really ringy chime-like instruments, so this one really appeals to me. But let me show you what happens when I play the C chord, and you can see both what happens with the initial strum and what happens with the sustain. So here we go. So hopefully you caught that. If not, go back and look at it again. You see a lot of action across the entire frequency when you strum it, and then you see a lot of frequencies hanging on with the sustain. So the sound really is quite good for a laminate instrument that costs under $100. Yeah, it's pretty amazing sound for a laminate. Now, does it sound like a solid wood instrument or a solid top instrument? No, those will have a different sound, different character to them. But as laminate ukuleles go, this one is quite amazing. Now that we've talked about the subjective aspects of the instrument, let's talk about the objective information, or in other words, the specification of the instrument. It is a tenor ukulele, and the scale length is 16.875 inches, just short of 17 inches from nut to saddle. It has 19 frets, 14 to the body, and there are side position markers. And the body style is a traditional double bout, and it's laminated mahogany on the top, sides, and back. The fretboard and bridge are made out of Richlite, and it is a pull through or a string through bridge. Again, not something to be avoided. Some people aren't sure about how to handle that. They're actually just as easy to work with as many other bridge types. In fact, I think it's even easier than a tie bar bridge. I think it might have a slight radius on the fretboard. I haven't wanted to take off the strings to actually check, but as I look down, it sure looks like there's a slight curvature on that fretboard. Now, if there's not, okay, I've been fooled, but it sure looks like there's a very slight radius to the fretboard. The nut and saddle are new bone, which is generally kind of a increasing price option with other manufacturers. It does have a compensated saddle, giving the C and E string a little more room to vibrate. It's a satin finish. The overall length is 27 inches, not counting the strap button there. And it weighs 1 pound, 3.4 ounces. It looks heavier than it actually is. It has close-geared tuners that feature the Enya logo, which is pretty nice. The action at the first fret is less than 0.25 millimeters, so it's really low action there. The action at the 12th is 2.5 millimeters. The nut width is 35.28 millimeters. Now, one of the things I like to do is to check the spacing of the strings at the first fret, and this is very much in line with like a concert or a soprano. There are 8.72 millimeters between each string at the first fret for a total of 28.59 millimeters from G to A. That's pretty narrow, and that's where some people with giant hands may not like the instrument. And the depth of the third fret was surprisingly shallow. It was 20.91. Now, I've already said that the neck feels chunkier, and I think that has more to do with how quickly the sides come down, the depth of it. So I guess what I'm asking for, even more than a more narrow neck, is, which I actually am asking for, would be that the shape doesn't, it's more of a D maybe is to say than a C. And that sort of summarizes the specifications of the instrument. So let's summarize the instrument. This instrument is being sold by Peripole, and only by Peripole in the United States. It's being called the Peripole Classic Tenor Ukulele, or the EUT 200A. If you want one of these, you won't find it on Amazon, you won't find it at Enya's website. You'll have to order it through Peripole. And again, good news, the price alone is good. There's a discount again for a non-educator. There's a discount for music educator. And of course, there are slight further discounts for classroom sets of the instrument. Now, ultimately, it's an Enya laminate ukulele. And if you're in the ukulele world and been paying attention since they've kind of entered the scene in the United States around 2016 or so, you will know that you're going to get a well-built, good-sounding ukulele with a great kit of stuff. And the benefit of this one is that it also has actually a louder voice than many of the laminates that I've played before. So really, at Peripole's normal pricing, it's a bargain. I was looking at prices of other Enyas out there right now. It is. But if you add in the extra discount you can get just by registering, or the music educator's discount if you're a music educator, it's definitely a highly recommended instrument for you. So let's get to the rating. I rate ukuleles on a scale of 0 to 5 ukuleles. And I would rate the Peripole Classic Tenor Ukulele as a 5 out of 5. It's really that good. Now, you might say, hold on for a second. Wait, how can you rate that more highly than, for example, a solid wood instrument? And the answer comes in is you have to keep in mind what class it's in. So it's a laminate ukulele. It sounds great as a laminate ukulele. It plays great. It has a great price tag, comes with a great kit, and really, there's very, very little wrong with it. I mean, you can make an argument that the faceplate is a little darker than the rest of the instrument. Okay? You can make an argument that there's a drop or two of glue on the inside. But otherwise, I mean, it's really quite an amazing instrument, as long as you're okay with a 35 millimeter nut. I am, but I understand that some people aren't. So for me, and again, that's why the UkeGuide ratings are subjective, it's a 5 out of 5. So if you want one of these, you have to go to peripole.com and you can find it there. Just look up Peripole Classic Ukulele and it will pop up right there. Make sure to register to get your discount. If you're a music educator, make doubly so to register to get one. All right, thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you're having a great day, and I will be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.